Alright, so if you want to make beats for future, this video will break everything down from the melody to the drums, all from scratch, so let's just jump straight in. Alright, so we are now in FL Studio 21. First things first, when it comes to the tempo, I'm just going to bump it up to something like 165. That is actually one of my favorite tempos to work in, but when you are going for these beats, I recommend going for something in between 150 and 170. Now for the instrument we're going to start off with, I'm just going to open up Omnisphere and go to the keyboard section. Then we're going to scroll down and try to use one of these keyscape presets. So let's just pick this Studio LA Custom C7, and this is obviously a piano, but depending on the sound you're going for, you can also start with some sort of bells, strings, or synths. Now for the scale on the melody, we're going to start off in D minor. So all we're going to do to start off with is lay down a D note. This is obviously the root note of the scale, so this is what we're going to start off with. And then we immediately want to focus on these half steps that are right next to each other. And what I mean by this is just these notes that have a semitone apart. Like I've already said plenty of times, they create a lot of tension when you use them in succession, so they work very well if you're going for that dark vibe. So we're going to work with these two half steps first, and then we can also create a triad out of this D note down here. So let's just do this, but we're going to delete the middle note. Make sure to zoom in over here on these two and turn this A a little bit to the side so it's kind of off grid. Now let's copy this over and actually pitch this down one octave, and we can also move it slightly to the side as well. So we have a very repetitive pattern we can just copy over for the whole 8 bars. Now this is a very catchy and repetitive pattern, but we need to fill it out a little bit more. So let's also add some root notes to the piano. So to do that, I'm just gonna copy this D one octave down. And then for the second root note, if you just copy it over and pitch it down by 4, that is also a very nice trick for the root notes if you want to create even more of that tension. Now this time we're gonna copy this over again, but this we're gonna pitch down 7. And then we can have this last one go back to this A over here. I feel like it can still be a little bit darker, so let's just copy it 1 octave down as well. Yeah, that's more like it. We can try to do a little bit of a switch up, so just invert these two last ones over here. I'm gonna switch right here. Yeah, that's way better. It's a little bit subtle, but it makes a difference. So now we have a lot of cool elements for the piano, but I still feel like we can add some half steps on the top notes to really add that difference on the movement for the sample. Yeah, those top notes are hard. As you can see for the top notes, again, we're just focusing on these half steps mainly because they really create that tension we're looking for. But since we have a very cool pattern for the first 4 bars, I want to switch it up a tiny bit on the last 4 bars though. So I think we can do a few adjustments over here at the end. Let's try to do something like this. Yeah, that's pretty much perfect right there. Now that we have the piano pattern down, let's quickly just add some effects to it. First things first, just some reverb. 19% on this drum should be nice. Let's add some crystallizer for that reverse effect in the background. Not too much though. We want that EQ as well. Really cut out those frequencies between 300 and 400. Yeah, this pattern is crazy. Now for our second instrument, we kind of want to add a little bit of that background layer to the piano. So to add that layer, I'm going to open up BBC Symphony Orchestra, and we're going to lay down some strings in the background. And by the way, this is a free plugin as well. Yeah, so we're just going to lay it down on the root notes very easily like this. Make sure we EQ out the high frequencies a little bit though. Also want to add a little bit of that pulsing effect with this kickstart too. Lastly, obviously a reverb again. Now for the third and fourth instrument, we kind of want to add a little bit of a counter melody. So now I'm going to show you guys a super cool trick you can do. So for this one, I'm just going to open up Mallet Flux and Contact, and then I'm going to go over to these presets and press this Celesta preset down there. Just keep it as it is and go open up the piano roll. Now again, we're just going to lay it down on the root note, but this time we're just going to lay it down in these 4-note increments like this. And just do this for each root note we have in the piano. Trust the process though. So now that we laid down that Celesta, we are going to open up the mixer and make sure to route it to an insert. I have it on the third insert, so I'm just going to press over here. Then we're going to press the record button and press Alt and R on our keyboard. This is just going to render it out as a WAV file. So now we have it in the playlist over here. And we're just going to double click the Celesta and press reverse. You also want to make sure to chop it up so it kind of fits in correctly. So this last part needs to go first. This second to last part needs to go second. This goes third and this goes last. So now we kind of have that cool vibe. We just need to add some effects to this though. Yes, I'm just adding this portal preset as well. It gives the bell a little bit of a unique sound. Yeah, so now we have this element as well. Really creates a super cool vibe to the sample. And now to really finish off the sample when it comes to these type of beats, I really just recommend you guys play around with a lot of different accents and effects. So all I'm going to do is just open up a lot of different arcade banks, and I'm just going to try to play around with some different accents. Yeah, so just play around with weird sounds. It kind of fits though. Alright, so I found this vocal as well. Goes crazy with the piano. Now, although the vocal sounds hard, we for sure need to add some effects so it kind of fits a little bit better. So to do exactly that, I just started off by pitching up the vocal 1 octave. Then I just added a roam for some more ambience on the vocal. And lastly, I really cut out the low end and the high end of the vocal so it wasn't so harsh, while also adding this pancake too to pan it from left to right. Now to finish it off, we're just gonna play around with the pitch on the sample, and then we can add some drums. As for all the drum sounds I'm using, they are of course coming from my Euphoria bundle kit. So if you guys like the drum sounds you hear, I highly advise you to check out the kit. It's on my website, it's BBMarko.com, or you can obviously just click the first link down below. Now when it comes to the drum sounds for these future type of beats, I usually just go about it as Metro Boomin would have done his drums, so you just keep the bounce super simple, but you want to do some slight switch ups here and there to really create the difference on the bounce. Copy the snare over. Now for the hi-hats, we're just going to have a normal 2-step, but I'm going to make sure to go in here and lower the velocity down a little bit on the second one. Then we can just copy that over for the whole thing and just very easily do some slight rolls here and there. You can also go over to this brush tool over here, hold shift and drag down some of the notes. Try to add this snare as well. That's hard. Now that we have all these elements down for the drums, I think it's time we add a kick in the 808. Then I'm just going to go into the MIDI section of my Euphoria bundle kit, and I'm actually just going to drag in an 808 MIDI right in. Yeah, so I just dragged in this MIDI 39. That's hard. Just added some more bounce as well. Now we also want to add a kick to this 808, so I'm just going to drag in this love kick over here. And since I want to do a cool trick for the kick, I'm first of all just going to copy the 808 and paste it right into the kick. Open it up, press Alt and K so we can route everything to the C file, and then we're just going to press Shift D to shorten them. Now something you can hear a lot of when it comes to futures beats, it is that some of the kicks come before or after the 808 actually hits. So just to give you guys an example, instead of having this last kick over here hit exactly when the 808 hits, we're just going to put it 1 box before like this. So just take a listen to it right now. Yeah, it's subtle, but it has a huge difference. Yeah, that's fire. Now let me quickly just arrange the beat, and then we'll take a listen to the finished one. And so we have a pretty slow intro, kind of builds up though.
Shut up, Marko.
Right here it drops. So we have that reverse texture coming in for the first part. Then we have the top line of the piano with the vocal as well. Slows a little bit down for the verse. Then it builds up again for the second part. Here we have a bridge. Everything slows down right before it drops again.